right, good evening, everybody. Tonight we are coming to you live from Brinkley Gym on the campus of Davidson-Davie Community College. I'm Dan Truey, sitting in for the legendary Miles Poole tonight for the coaches show. Sitting here with head coach Matt Ridge. Hey, we're going to dive in tonight and look more into the 2022-2023 season with our number 2 nationally ranked basketball team right here in the heart of Davidson County. Coach Ridge is going to bring us up to speed on the past few weeks. It's been very busy on the road, a lot of jamborees. We'll get an update on that. And just a reminder for all of those watching us on Facebook Live, send your questions in via Facebook. I'll be watching those, checking those out, and feel free to chime in, and we'll do our best to kind of answer some of those as we go through that. Does that sound good? So let's open it up. Welcome, Coach Matt Ridge. About some opening comments before we start talking about Florida and Brunswick College.
Well, first of all, Dan, thanks for filling in for
Absolutely.
Miles. You do such a good job for us. And this past Saturday, it was awesome to have you in Brinkley Gym, and we appreciate all your time, energy
You're
behind
welcome.
the scenes. I know it's a lot of time and work, so thank you. But, yeah, it's been an interesting preseason. We've had a lot of injuries. We've had recently a lot of sickness, but the guys have persevered, and we've started off pretty good week for the first week, 2-0 on the road, Central Carolina, and then, of course, Saturday against Denmark Tech at home.
Excellent. So since the last show, I think that was October 11th, you put a lot of miles on the bus. I saw the updates of your trip to Florida. Actually exchanged some text with you as you were riding back. You guys were really successful there. Fill the audience in tonight about that trip. Let's talk about those 2 days, the competition, how your team performed, and just what were your takeaways?
Well, that All-American Jamboree is one that we've never been to simply because we've never been invited. It's an event that's normally held just for Division I junior colleges all over the country. It's one of the premier events in the month of October. There's so many four-year coaches there, so it's just a great opportunity for our kids to get, out there and get four-year coaches to see them play. So that was a great opportunity for us to go down there and play in that, not just against great competition, but also for our kids to play in front of a lot of four-years. 2 of our players actually ended up with a full scholarship offer from that event, so that was great.
Excellent.
But we played 2 teams that are traditionally ranked in the top 20 in Division I junior college, and we're fortunate enough to beat both of them. And we played 2 other Division I JUCOs as well, so we played really, really well. I was really pleased with what we did down there, and we were somehow able to come out with 4 wins.
That's perfect. And then the very next weekend, you guys are back on the road. Went down to Eastern North Carolina to Brunswick Community College. There was another preseason jamboree there. Played really well. I think you had Brunswick, Cape Fear, Sand Hills Community College was there. How did you feel like after such great success in Florida, you bounced back the next weekend? How did the team do at that jamboree?
Well, we split our team up into 2 teams for that event, so it wasn't like we had everybody playing on one team, kind of like we did in Florida. But we went 3-1 at Brunswick. We did lose to Cape Fear, but overall the preseason was a huge success. We went 11-1. I think all the teams we played except for Sand Hills were Division I junior colleges. So I was very pleased, not just that we were winning, that we were playing well. This group was playing together by the end of the preseason, which is always a challenge in junior college because most kids are going JUCO to get their stats so they can go on to 4 years. And so we've been blessed for many, many years here to get kids to buy and to understand it's about the name on the front, not the back of the jersey. And these guys have done that thus far. I mean, right now we have, I believe, 6 players after 2 games averaging double figures. So that tells you right there these kids care more about their teammates and not themselves. So I think we've got a really good group, not just talented, but willing to play for we instead of me.
Absolutely. Yeah, I obviously saw that in some of what I've seen. Very unselfish play, willing to give the extra pass for the open shot, so that's excellent. Hey, let's switch gears a little bit, looking at some of the individual opponents. Yeah, and again, you got more things coming for the upcoming season. After those jamborees, we talked about a little about the team, kind of where they're at preseason. Has there been any kind of mindset change that you've done in your preseason scheduling? Are the jamborees something you always do, or is that kind of new this season?
We've always done at least one jamboree simply because you get the kids a more opportunity to play more games, and us as coaches can evaluate better because by November 1st we have to make a decision who's going to be the top 15 and dress all year. And in junior college, when you play 1 second of one game, unlike the NCAA, it counts for a whole year of eligibility. So we have to be 100% right in getting the guys that are going to dress. So that's one reason we always go to jamborees. But another one is, it's just a more opportunity for us to evaluate our players in terms of seeing who's going to mesh well with who and who we can trust and that sort of thing. So I think playing in jamborees has always been a great thing. But as the program has grown over the years, we've been invited to more and more jamborees. Like the one in Florida, we played 2 days, and so that counted as 2 jamborees. Played 4 games in 2 days, and then of course Brunswick, we played 4 games in 1 day, and then in Georgia, I believe we played 4 games. So that's, I believe, 12 games we played in the preseason. Whereas if you just play one night, 4 times, that's just 4 games. So playing in those jamborees allowed us to actually play 12 games in 4 days.
Excellent. And I think it's pretty interesting that you guys were traveling to Florida, traveling to Brunswick, traveling to Georgia, not in the old bus. Tell us a little bit about this new ride at Davidson-Davie Community College, this new bus purchase, and tell us a little bit about that, how that came to be.
Well, number one, we've been traveling in the Storm bus for about 7 or 8 years, and unfortunately it only seats 18 people. And so by the time you have 15 players, 3 coaches, a bus driver, and all of our other personnel like our managers, statisticians, and all those people, you can't fit them on the bus.
Not to mention the gear.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Dr. Hartness found a bus online about a couple months ago, and it was all Dr. Hartness's doings. He decided to make the big purchase, and he sent Scott Overton and Larry Dollars to Tennessee to pick it up, brought it back. And so we now have a 41-passenger bus that will be taken to all of our away games. So we are very appreciative and grateful that Dr. Hartness made that purchase for us.
That's
it's
fantastic.
also really like a luxury bus, Dan. It's got a couple of monitors in it. We can show film. So at some point when we get Wi-Fi and a hotspot, we'll be able to actually use that opportunity on the bus en route to games to show the guys, hey, look, this is the action we're going to guard, and here's how we're going to guard it.
That's perfect. And you ride in comfort. You show up, the guys are ready. You're not cramped in the bus, so that's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Hey, let's look at the regular season. You've got 2 games already under your belt here. So you opened up last Wednesday, the 2nd, against Central Carolina. It's early in the season, but again, you came out pretty good there. How difficult was it to get a good scouting report on Central Carolina? Did you know about that team, or were you going in kind of blind?
Well, Coach Allen and I, the week before, went and watched them scrimmage at Fayetteville Tech. They actually beat Fayetteville Tech. It's a scrimmage game, so you can't put a lot of weight into that. But the fact that they beat a team in our league, and especially someone as good as Fayetteville Tech on the road, that was impressive. Central Carolina's always got shooters, and that scares me to death, especially first game on the road. Obviously defensively, I thought we did some things pretty well in the first half to kind of disrupt what they were trying to do. So I was really proud of our kids' effort defensively more than anything.
So in that game, you open up, the opening play started with a dunk. Was that scripted? Did it just happen?
Well,
did you dial that up pregame? How did that go down?
I'm not a prophet, but I did tell the kids the week before that we were going to get a dunk off the jump ball, but it was not how I drew it up.
Okay. Tell us how it happened.
Well, how it happened and how I drew it up is 2 different things. But basically how it happened was there was a loose ball, and Chase picked it up and took 1 step and dunked it. So that's exactly what happened. But we have a little play we run off the jump ball, but it didn't happen. So
no alley-oops, nothing from Jaheim to Chase, nothing like that.
We would never try that. So,
okay,
no.
got it. Excellent. So after that dunk on that opening tip, you guys, I wasn't there. I didn't watch the live stream, but I saw the final score. You blitzed Central Carolina that night. I don't know if that was expected. You jumped out to a 14-0 lead, 21-2 early. And when you start out that strong, how hard is it to keep the guys focused when you're really cruising against a team that you may have thought would have given you a bigger challenge?
Well, we usually use, and I haven't with this team yet, the golf course analogy. We want to play the game the right way. You're not always just playing the scoreboard or your opponent. You want to play the game the right way no matter what the scoreboard says. So I felt like our kids did a really, really good job of that last Wednesday at Central Carolina, because it is very difficult when you're up 30, 40, 50 points to not keep that same focus and edge. But our kids did it. And, I played everybody a lot of minutes, and everybody who played at a high level. So I was really proud that coming out of halftime when we were up 40 or whatever it was, that our kids actually went on another run in the second half.
Yeah, so the final score for those that didn't see it, 113-51. So as you have that lead, let's talk about the defensive end of the floor that night. We'll close out with the Central Carolina game talking about the defensive effort for your team. And again, focusing on that as you have that big lead. What was some of the timeouts? What was the conversation like to keep them dialed in on the defensive end?
Well, at the end of the day, we have 12 D goals for every game, and we've never lost a game here in my 16 years that we've got 8 or more of those. And so after the game, we always evaluate how we did defensively first, and, of course, rebounding. Because you're not going to shoot the ball at a high level for 30-plus games. And so defense travels, as Coach Allen always says, and I thought we were able to keep that edge. And it had nothing to do with Matt Ridge or anything I said. It was all on these guys right here that they bought in, that they're going to pressure the ball. They're going to deny one pass away. They're going to do what we preach every day, not just on but off the ball in our rotations and how we trap and how we guard.
And on the offensive side for that night, 7 players, double figures, just really good. Good balance. Everything that I've seen from your teams, Matt, good balance on the offensive and defensive side. And on that same note, offensively, let's look at this past Saturday. Can we talk about that for a little bit?
Absolutely.
Great game. Denmark Tech came here to Brinkley. It was the season opener. Great crowd. I thought we had a good crowd Saturday. 6 players, double figures this Saturday against a really good Denmark Tech team. And they were 3-24 last year. That was not a 3-24 team that we saw Saturday. And then you guys had a late first half run there to really pull ahead. I think that set the tone for the rest of the game. Tell us a little bit more about that. And Chase Mebane was big in that game. Double-double, 17 points, 13 boards.
Yeah.
Pretty strong. Talk about Chase and his effort and just what he means to this basketball team.
Well, Chase right now is averaging, I think, 15.5 points and 9 rebounds. We've literally seen Chase grow up the last 3 years. He came here kind of unsure of himself, not just on, but a little bit even off the court. But now he's a grown man. He is a grown man. He plays way above the rim. He's hard to guard in the post. He can step out and shoot the 3, and he's supremely confident. And that's the thing that I love seeing these kids develop, not just on the court in terms of their ability, but between their ears and their confidence. And Chase and some of his teammates have been here, too, in his case 3 years. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and they should, because they've put a lot of time in, not just in practice, but outside of practice. And I'm really, really pleased for Chase because he's had a great, not just 2 games, but even the preseason. He's been pretty dominant against some high-level competition.
That's great. And we'll hear more from Chase later tonight. Hey, before we switch gears to our special guest tonight, we do have a special guest that's going to be sitting in with us here in a little bit. Excited to hear from him. I do need to go to Facebook. We do have a question if you got a second to catch this. We do have Brian Hughes chiming in and says, hey, Coach, you have a small sample size, but what have you learned about your team that surprises you, and where can the team improve? That's a great question.
Well, we can continue to improve in all areas of the game, especially shooting free throws more consistently. We've not been very good from the line, and our decision-making hasn't been the best at times with certain individuals. But that's something I'm going to continue to coach them hard on.
Are you looking at somebody specifically right
now?
But
he wasn't looking up.
Oh, okay, got it.
But now he is.
Okay.
But anyways, at the end of the day, they know I'm going to use the bench to teach, and if they make poor decisions and mental mistakes, that they'll come sit beside me. But at the end of the day, I've got to do a better job to get them to shoot the ball with confidence from the line, and then secondly, make better decisions and not turn it over. Because if you're turning the ball over, you're not going to win a national championship.
Got it. And Brian, that was a great question. Again, Facebook's wide open for you guys. If you want to dial in and send your questions, I'll be looking for those. Hey, let's switch gears.
Well, second half to Brian's question, I don't mean to interrupt you.
You didn't talk about improving.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, he asked, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, what I'm surprised about.
Yeah. Go ahead.
At this point, I've been not necessarily surprised, but pleased with our execution in the half court. our guys have really bought into the details of what we're doing and how we do it, not just in our 5 out and 4 in motion, but our sets. And there's so many things that we emphasize on a daily basis, and not just the returners, but the first-year guys have really, really been a sponge and really been detail-oriented to make the things work on game day, because what you see out there on the court isn't just something that they just show up and do. It's a conscious effort of 5 guys being on the same page and understanding what your job is every second. And I've been very pleased with that thus far, especially this early in the season.
Yeah. And from my vantage point, maybe a question for me is when you're in that half-court set, you run a lot of emotion offense, but when you're not doing that, are you calling the plays from the sideline, or do the guys have the freedom to see a defense and then adjust as needed?
It's a mixture of both. I'm trying to get our guys to, especially our point guards, to call stuff more on the fly without me having to call it. Last year we had a point guard in Zy Dawkins that would do a great job of that. But, every time in practice when they're coming down, if they're not calling whatever, 5 out motion or even a set, I'm stopping them, because I'm letting them know you've got to be the coach on the floor and you got to communicate. Coach K, who just retired, obviously said there's 3 systems in basketball: offensive, defensive, and the communication is the 3rd system. So if you're not talking, you're not thinking, and if you're not thinking, you're not very good.
Excellent. Hey, let's make a quick little switch here. Let's bring up our special guest. I do want to introduce a great Storm player from back in Storm basketball history. We're going to bring him in here with us. We're going to slide over here real quick, make room for Landon Bowers. Landon played for Coach Ridge from 2007 to 2009. That was the first 2 years of the history of this program. Landon, welcome to the show, and good to have you here. We'll just get in to our topics tonight. And how does it feel to be back here at Brinkley Gym, by the way? Let's just start with that.
Yeah, so first off, thanks for having me, man. It's an honor to be here. It just brings back so many memories, man, just the smell of it when I was walking in. I smelled like the popcorn, the weight room, just, man, a lot of practice, a lot of blood, sweat, tears, everything here. So, thanks for having me.
Excellent. Hey, for the audience and for maybe some that don't know, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and really what brought you here to DDCC back in 2007.
Yes, sir. So I'm Landon Bowers, of course. I'm originally from Lenoir, North Carolina. I played basketball in high school at West Caldwell with Coach Danny Anderson, we played East Davidson, where Coach Ridge was the head coach there, and Justin Strickland was the unbelievable player there.
We'll talk about him here in a little bit, by the way, but let's
all right,
more on you now. Go
yeah,
ahead.
so we played East Davidson in the state playoffs, 2A, and I had a decent game. I think I had like 20 or something like that, and shot the ball very well, and I think that just stuck with Coach Ridge. And when Davidson Community College said that they was going to have a program, and Coach Ridge found out that he was going to be the coach here, he remembered me, and he reached out to Coach Anderson, and Coach Anderson, he said, hey man, this might be an opportunity for you to continue playing ball, because to be honest with you, I was hanging it up. I was headed to Winston-Salem State to start what that journey looks like. And Coach Ridge, he reached out, and I came down for a workout. Me and my good friend Chris Witherspoon, shout out to him. He's from Lenoir as well, went to High Brighton. He has a Fortunate Academy. He's actually working with coaching at West Caldwell right now. But we came down, and I had a good workout. And Coach Ridge, man, he signed me right there on the spot, man. And hey, the rest is history.
Excellent. So tell us a little bit about, you show up here at DDCC. Tell us a little bit about that first team, the culture, your teammates. Just give us a feel for what that was like your first season.
Yes, sir. So, just to start off, it's a new experience just going off, leaving and going to college. That's just an experience in itself. And then becoming a student athlete, I've always been a student athlete, but at the high school level where, I've always kind of been pampered and, people showing you the ropes and things like that. But being a college athlete is totally different. You got to time management. We didn't have dorms and things like that, which I'm sure they still don't, but, apartments. And so you got to do money management and learn how to pay bills and, getting to class on time and things like that. So those are just an experience in itself. And the culture here, it was bought on trying to be family oriented, togetherness, being accountable, holding each other, accountable, taking pride in hard working and being resilient and things like that. So yeah,
That's good. Not much has changed in 16 years. There's a lot of buzzwords that I heard him say that I still hear you say, Coach, so that's pretty good. So, Landon, freshman season, you show up. DDCC has been known for some pretty prolific backcourts. You show up on the scene your freshman year, and you're teamed up with, you've already said his name, Justin Strickland, right? And you guys were pretty phenomenal that year. Yourself, scoring a lot of points. You averaged 18.6 per game. I did a little internet search on you today, just so you know.
Yeah.
I looked at your stats. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Your shooting percentage from field goal percentage was pretty good, 42.2 from behind the three-point line, and I think close to 50 from the field, so really good. What was it like playing alongside Justin? He was a pretty prolific scorer. His field goal percentage was 60% that year, but you guys really filled up the hoop and scored a lot of points. What was that like?
Right. So it's funny that when Coach Ridge sent me my prep questions, me and Strick, we still communicate now, and we were actually talking about that. And I was just telling him how playing along him helped elevate my game. I'm 5'8". People look at me like, oh man, he's not gonna do anything.
5'9" on the roster, though.
5'9" on the roster, 6 foot really.
Okay.
But just being able to play with a guy like that and watch how he score and just like I told him, I was like, man, I learned how the art of scoring and learn when to score, how to score, and like how to get to the free throw line more and things like that. He would always say, he would always say that it's free. You could go up there and rack up 20-some points, just by shooting free throws. I remember when that game that I did have 40, he came up to me, he was here, and he was like, man, you missed a free throw. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, it could have been 41 or 42 or whatever. So,
right.
Just playing with a guy like that, that's giving you the confidence, and then, they so much worried about him that, I would sneak in and, have, 20, 30, whatever. So it was, it was good to have someone like that to play with, yeah.
Absolutely. Certainly elevates your game. Landed about halfway through your sophomore season. It wasn't all rosy, right? So you suffered an unfortunate injury that sidelined you for the rest of that season. You went out at that point. I think you were leading the team, 22.7 per game. The Storm was 13-2 at that point in the season, ranked in the top 3, and here you have this injury. Can you tell us a little bit about that injury and kind of the rest of that season, what that was like for you?
Yeah, that one still stings to today. I was 140 points away from having my 1,000 points. So, and it was only 15 games in, so of course I was going to get that. There's no question. But that was my first major injury, tearing my right Achilles. It was, of course, some depression and things like that. And as far as the basketball thing, man, it was something that I loved, and it seemed like it wronged me, and then I had my surgery, thanks to Coach Ridge and his doctor. We're at High Point. And then, I went back home and did rehab, but it was more so the rehab was for, hey, just get me back to walking, basketball, I'm not worried about that right now. Just get me back to walking, and so yeah, it was a trying time, but persevered on and had to go.
Got it. So I'm going to ask you a little bit about some of your favorite moments. I've heard you drop like a 40-point game, but tell us about some of your favorite moments, your time here at DDCC.
Yeah, so one moment that sticks out for me again, like Coach, I go back to that family aspect, is just having dinners and events at Coach Ridge's home with him and Candace and his it was one daughter then. I think it was just Maddie then. So it, we're from. I mean, I'm from an hour and 32 hours away, so I'm not getting to see family much because I'm not getting to see my mom much. Shout out to her. But just being able to, spend that time and feel like family with Coach Rich, especially for the holidays, Thanksgivings, different things like that, Christmas, those things. Those were good times. And then, Coach Rich setting up like the Christmas caroling at the skilled nursing facilities here in town, going around and doing that. That was pretty cool. I think we walked in the parade sometimes or something like that. And then, like you alluded to about the 40-point game, that was special there for me. So those are some of my special times there.
That's good, Landon. I think you got some fans on our Facebook
Oh,
feed
okay,
here.
okay.
I got to take a quick second just to look at this. Yeah, Brian Hughes is saying, "Welcome, Landon, Storm family."
Thank you.
Mark Webb says, "Talent that can be coached and placed together is all you can ask for."
Yeah, shout out Mark. That's my coworker.
Yeah,
there.
Mark Webb says he works with you.
Yeah, that's my
You got a
guy.
coworker
Yeah.
chiming in tonight. If he was as good at basketball as he is an occupational therapist, he's the GOAT. That's your coworker chiming in there. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So that leads me right into my next question.
Yes, sir.
What are you doing today?
Yes, sir.
And what did you take from this program that's helping you in your everyday life?
So I live in Winston-Salem now with my wife of 5 years and our 3 amazing, beautiful kids. We have 2 girls, 1 boy. My mom's not too far from us, right down the road. I went to Winston State after I finished up here in '09. I got my bachelor's degree in exercise science, and I took a year off. And we in 2014 we had our first daughter. And I got accepted into the master's program for occupational therapy. So I'm an occupational therapist. I work at a skilled nursing facility in Winston-Salem. And, just from that, I just took, being family-oriented, persevering, keep going on, hardworking, those type things that I took away from the program here.
That's fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Landon, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule, sitting down with us tonight. It's been really good. So, again, one of the founding team members of this program. So, well done. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, yes, sir.
All right, Coach, excuse me, that was really good. Let's get back to some questions with you. We're going to get situated again as we just make sure there's no other.
Landon will always be special to me for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
When I first got the job in late June, I had 6 weeks to put a team together. To get someone of his caliber was pretty special, not just because he's talented, but because his commitment to excellence, the daily grind. He loved the game. He didn't like it. And those are the kind of guys that do well for me. So I'll do anything in the world for that young man the rest of my life. I owe him a lot for being, willing to come here on such a quick, offer and play for me for 2 years.
Yeah, that's fantastic. He says he's 5'8".
He plays much bigger now.
Yeah, he did, and again, just some of the pictures on the internet. I mean, he's got to be super fast.
Oh, he's a blur.
He could get up and down the court pretty quick.
And he
right?
could really shoot it.
Yeah, excellent. Hey, let's got a few other questions from you. We've talked about the past program. Let's get back to today. Okay, Chase Mebane, Aaron Ross, Jarvis Tillman. They've been with you for 3 years. This is their 3rd year in the program. And again, because of COVID, they get the extra year of eligibility, which is great. Talk about those 3, and we've talked about Chase already. So let's focus a little bit on Aaron and Jarvis, and we'll finish up with Chase as well. Go ahead.
Well, I hope all of our first-year guys or anyone out there listening, coming to college as a freshman is not easy if you go to a really good program. And none of those 3 guys their first year here stepped in and played a ton. As a matter of fact, Jarvis played very little, as a freshman. Aaron played very little, and Chase for the 70-80% of the first year didn't even dress. And now if you fast forward 3 years later, not only are all three of them starters for us, Chase has a full scholarship offer already. Aaron had a full scholarship offer last year, and Jarvis also has a school that's probably going to offer him soon. So, they've gone from playing very little to not just starting and being three of our best players, but three of the best players in our region, and probably going to have an opportunity, well, some of them already do, to get a free education at the next level and use basketball as a vehicle to make that happen.
That's excellent.
And it's because of their character, not just their ability, that they've continued to get better and better and better. They're extremely coachable, and they're better people than they are players. And I'm not just saying that because we're on air. It's the truth. I would do anything in the world to continue to coach them, but I know after this year, it's the end of the road. I mean, because of COVID, I got an opportunity to coach these kids the third year, which will never probably happen again in the history of junior college. So
right.
We're very blessed to have them a third year. Aaron turned down a scholarship to come back, which is extremely rare as well. So they're awesome kids. Jarvis affects the game more than just about anybody I've ever coached without scoring. I mean, at Central Carolina, he didn't even take a shot. 5 assists, no turnovers, 7 blocks, and 7 rebounds. And he was passing up good for a teammate to get a great shot. Aaron Ross, again, 6th man last year from not hardly playing as a freshman, and now he's starting. I think Aaron also, along with Chase, is averaging 15.5 points a game. He's just a stat stuffer. He averages about 4 or 5 rebounds and 4 or 5 assists. And then, of course, we've already talked about Chase.
Yeah, and I was going to talk about Aaron's rebounding. That was the one thing that impressed me last year as a 6th man coming off the bench. He made the most of his minutes, and the rebounding part on Aaron's part is what really stands out to me. And you said, 4 or 5 a game? It sometimes seems like 10 just with his activity.
Well, we play so many kids. It's not like he's playing 30, 35 minutes a game. And, he's really, really athletic and strong as an ox.
Excellent. Hey, speaking of Chase Mebane, I think we should bring him up now as a special guest also this evening. Let's bring him up. And, Chase, we got a few questions for him. We'll give him time to come around and get situated. We'll get doing that. While he's coming up, let's just make sure we
I've been looking forward to hearing Chase speak on air, so this will be fun.
oh, yeah.
I hope his mom and dad are watching.
Hey, looks like we got a new Storm basketball fan in Mark Webb, Landon's coworker, so that's fantastic. Thank you, Mark, for your comment. And again, Facebook, keep them coming. I'll keep watching, and we'll fill it in. Chase, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good.
Good. You're not nervous, are you?
No.
Have you ever done this before?
Yes.
Good. Awesome. Well, let's get going. I got a few questions for you. I mean, Coach Ridge, he speaks highly of you, right? You third year here. What is it like playing at Davidson-Davie Community College, and where do you feel like you've improved the most?
Well, I say for my first year, I didn't know what I was getting into. I really came to Coach Ridge. Cause we play at a very fast pace, so you really got to be in shape when you come here. I feel like I didn't do that, so it had me second guessing myself when I first came here.
Okay.
But it's very fun atmosphere playing here. Team play. So.
Where do you think you've improved the most from year one to where you are today?
Just really being sure of myself, being more confident, aggressive in my play, and that's really it.
Excellent. Coach tells us, he tries to prepare players to get them ready, practice, film session. I mean, when I was even calling some of the volleyball games, Coach Ridge was watching, but also getting practice schedules put together. I mean, you're constantly working, very organized, but can you tell us a little bit and tell us about the listeners as well? What is it like, the daily grind of practice? Can you give us a little glimpse into what that looks like opening, what you're going through and kind of what that looks like?
Well, first off, we're going to practice like we play, so we're going to try to do everything fast, get to where we need to go, and it's a daily grind because we don't have, there's nobody here to take care of you. Your parents aren't here to take care of you. So it's on you to do everything.
Got it.
You know, take care of yourself, but make sure you're on coach time as well.
So your practice is you don't show up and do layup lines for 30 minutes. You're not doing anything like that. You're jumping right in, going full speed.
Yeah, we might warm up a little bit, but make sure you stretch before practice, stretch on your own time, so we can get right to it.
Got it. You know, Coach Ridge also, refers to, he likes to play fast. You mentioned playing fast, but not in a hurry. I only had like a 2-year high school career myself. I would like to play fast as well, but I typically got in a hurry instead of playing fast. Can you explain what it looks like to play at a really fast pace but be poised and play not in a hurry? What does that mean?
So playing fast and not play in a hurry.
Yeah.
So basically, when we get the rebound on defense, you want to get it up the court, but knowing what you're going to do before you do it. So we want to get it out to our point guards and run with them, but we want to do it at our pace without getting sped up. So.
Got it. And what's your favorite memory so far from playing here at Davidson-Davie?
Definitely all the trips, the road trips we've had, to nationals, back-to-back years. I feel like that's my favorite memory. You're with your team, also other fans all week, so you get a lot of time to bond with them and extra things we get to do off the court. So I would say favorite memories, all the road trips.
Good. And can you give a little glimpse for the audience, kind of what are your goals individually this season and kind of the team goals? What are you really striving for in this 2022-2023 season?
Well, personally, my goal is just to be the best version of me, but keep it within the team goals, which is to win a national championship. So I want to do whatever it takes to help my team win, and I will do that.
Excellent. This is totally off script, but I got to ask you this question, Chase, because what I saw Saturday was pretty impressive play, 17 points, 13 boards. Would you rather make a three-pointer or dunk on two people?
Oh, definitely dunk on two people.
Okay.
Especially at home.
Excellent.
The crowd gets all into it. So.
Yeah, that's a great answer.
But he's got to make the free throw.
Oh, yeah, make the free throw.
Because the three's worth an extra point.
But you're assuming he's getting fouled on the dunk from.
Well, you said dunk on two people, so
Yeah, I mean, he's that good. He's going to dunk without getting fouled, probably, more than likely.
Well, based on our last two games, we got to start making free throws, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes. Notice I didn't mention anything about free throw percentage for the season, but you brought it up. Coach, anything for Chase before we let him go?
Be ready to play tomorrow night.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Excellent. Patrick and Henry tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, right?
Yes,
Excellent.
sir.
Chase, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Good job, Chase.
Thank you, Chase. Well done. Really good player. Phenomenal. You know what? I think we should put another player on the hot seat. We do have some time.
How about the young man that had the baseline dunk on Saturday afternoon?
Oh, you call it baseline? That dunk started almost from the three-point line on the right side. Let's bring Jalen King up. I look forward to having a few questions for him this evening.
He's got to be able to get out the front door to his car when we get done. Let's not make his head too big.
I'm not going to build him up too much, Coach. Don't worry about that. All right. Wonderful. Hey, before we talk Jalen, Chase, Brian Hughes is saying you're awesome. He loved watching you play. The two-hand stuff Saturday was pretty good. That was pretty nice. So, Brian Hughes says keep it up, Chase. So, well done.
That putback dunk was nice.
Yeah, it was really good. All right, Jalen.
How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I got to see you for the first time Saturday doing the live stream, and I'm telling you, we're going to talk about that dunk towards the end of the game. But more than that, first half. Coach had you out there. We were trying to run some sets, and he got onto you pretty hard.
Yes, sir.
There was probably about 3 plays in a row. Things were breaking down, some decision-making. I tell you what, you guys play at such a fast pace. trying to do that while thinking and being poised is a difficult thing to do. Tell us a little bit that first half. You were struggling a little bit, trying to get the ball distributed and getting the plays going. How did you pull back from that and really get it dialed in for the rest of the game?
Yeah, that's something I've been kind of trying to working on my turnovers and my decision making. So I made a couple costly turnovers in the first half, and Coach had got on me real hard, and I just had to say to myself, just keep the next play mentality and just keep going forward and not letting those turnovers affect my game going on to the second half. So I just wanted to, next time I got in, just come in and make an impact.
Excellent. And just for me and the audience, what brought you here to Davidson-Davie? I guess would say brought you back to Davidson-Davie, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that journey.
I came here in 2018. I played here. I left after that year, and then I came back a year after that and took some classes, got my eligibility. Then I came back this year to finish it off. So what brought me back here was basically because I just wanted to finish what I started. It was kind of eating me up inside. We didn't have the season that we wanted to have my first year here, so I just wanted to come back and kind of right the ship. So that's what kind of brought me back here.
Good. And where's home for you?
Yanceyville, North Carolina.
Yanceyville. Excellent. Yeah. Wonderful. And I got to fast forward to the dunk. It really brought the house down. So for those that weren't watching, those that weren't in Brinkley, I was there. You're driving down the court. There may have been a defender or two, maybe, back, but not really in good defensive position.
Right.
You bring it up the right side. It looks like to me you're going to go in. We already had a pretty good lead at that point. And I thought you were going in for a layup, maybe draw a foul, make a free throw, hopefully. But you took maybe, I may be exaggerating here, but it looked to me, from my vantage point, that you had like 3 steps in from the three-point line. And you decided in your 6'1", 170, 180 frame, you took off and one hand dunked it from the side. Tell me about that. Did you know you were going to do that, or how do you make those kind of decisions going that fast?
Honestly, I just seen I had a step on him, and so like I didn't know if I was actually going to make the dunk, but I just know I just wanted to attempt it at least. So once I seen I got up, and I didn't know if I was going to make it or if I was just going to hit the rim. I just know I wanted to do something. So I just went up with it, and thank God I made it.
Yeah, so you're saying thank God you made it. If you would have attempted that and missed, Coach, would you have got onto him a little bit?
Yeah, he would have.
Got it. Oh, he's going off, Mike. Your teammates are smiling.
They all know the answer.
Yeah,
They know the answer, yeah.
It was a fantastic dunk. Just really made a nice seal on that game against Denmark Tech. You guys played great offense, really strong defense. So, again, thank you, Jalen, for your time. Appreciate you stepping in and sitting in the hot seat for a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Well done. Good luck at Patrick and Henry tomorrow night.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, Jalen. Well spoken.
That was really good. Brian Hughes is a big fan tonight. He loves your poster dunk, he calls it. You took charge there. Well done. All right. Hey, speaking of tomorrow night, can we get a little preview for Patrick and Henry tomorrow night? You guys are on the road. First Region 10 conference game. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, I think, is a tip-off. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Martinsville, Virginia.
Yep.
I hope our fans will travel. As far as our prep, we know very little about them. We're their first game, and unfortunately, I've got no film on them in their scrimmages. So we're kind of going into this blindfolded, which I hate, but it is what it is. So I'm going to coach by instincts tomorrow night. If our kids play our principles, it doesn't matter, in terms of us knowing what they're going to do. It's all about what we do on our end. But I'm sure Patrick Henry is going to be much improved. Their coach works really hard at recruiting, and so I'm excited about our first road conference game tomorrow night. The kids have been working their tail off since late August, so this is what we've been working for, the opportunity to, hopefully compete for a region championship. Yeah,
and you mentioned at the start of the show tonight, Matt, that you got some injury. Again, I think we had 11. Did we have 11 dressed out Saturday?
Yep, so
you can take 9, 10, 11. What are we looking at for tomorrow night against?
We're going to dress 9 or 10 tomorrow.
Okay.
The flu bug is going around bad. The kids laughed at me, but I don't care. I made them go during practice yesterday washed their hands twice, just to make a point to them that
Right.
they need to do everything on their end to stay healthy. And washing their hands is just one thing they need to be doing. But it's very important that our kids do what they need to do off the court so they can get on the court. And right now, with this flu bug going around like it is, they need to be mindful of washing their hands, getting plenty of rest, eating plenty of food, drinking fluids, et cetera, et cetera. But we plan to dress 9 or 10 based on who practiced today. Our rule is if you don't come to practice the day before game, you don't play. So we had a couple guys at home. Elan's sick, so he won't be going with us tomorrow. Zaire came, but he had to sit out. So, we'll see how he feels tomorrow. And then we got a few other guys that won't be going with us for different reasons.
Okay, got it. And then next Saturday, come back for another home match here at Brinkley. Another conference opponent in Johnston Community College. Johnston used to be Division III and moved up to Division II now. What kind of team does Johnston have this year? What do you know about them, and what can the fans look for next Saturday, the 12th, here at Brinkley?
Well, Johnston, just like Patrick Henry, we don't have any film on. But and when you look at their roster, there's a few kids that played for them last year that I'm familiar with, one of which I recruited. Their point guard's really, really quick. So that's going to be a challenge keeping him in front of us, especially the way we play in terms of pressure and denying. But if you think back to last year when we went to Johnston down there to Smithville-Selma area, we barely won that game. I think we won by 8 or 10 points. So, Johnston's a team that we cannot take lightly. I don't think with us being ranked number 2 in the country, we're going to sneak up on too many people. So, our kids probably have a good idea that we're going to get our opponent's best shot. And so we've got to be ready Saturday as well, but we're not looking past Patrick and Henry tomorrow night.
Excellent, good. And I would say before we close the show up tonight, I think we're doing pretty good on time here, but is there anything else you'd like to mention to the Storm fans for the upcoming season? Anything about the program, any needs, support, that type of thing? Well, I'll just give you a little bit of time here to speak.
Well, going back to what Landon said about family, I make plenty of mistakes, not just as a coach, but as a father and husband and Christian. I'm so blessed to have so many people behind the scenes that make us who we are. You're an example of that. Jared Bowman, an example of that. Alexa, an example of that. Our best statistician in the country, Manuel Teague, who came here tonight, is an example of that. Tristan Wells is an example of that. And certainly all of our players are an example of that. So I just want to say that I am so blessed to have a supportive family at home. Candace, if you're listening, I love you. And our 3 daughters that make so many sacrifices for me to be able to do what I love. And then all these people like these people that are come out tonight behind the scenes that do so many things. And then we have a president that really supports not just our basketball but our entire athletic program, and Dr. Hartness. We have so many people here at the college like Yvette Candy behind the scenes helping our guys with financial aid. We have Chris David that help our guys every week academically with study halls, and our instructors here help our kids in so many ways. And it's just a great place to be a part of. And I'm just so blessed to be the athletic director and basketball coach here. But as far as our needs going forward, I've been trying to raise money for a digital scoreboard and a digital scores table. And we're getting close to being able to pay for that. So if there's anyone listening interested in getting involved with our sponsorship program, please hit me up via email or call me. But we're looking hopefully to get that installed sometime in January so this team can enjoy it January, February, and March. So if there's anyone listening interested, please give me a call or text or email, and we'll talk to you about all the different ways you can get involved.
That's great. And again, that scoreboard, the fans would be able to see in the front of the scorer's table some live feed, and I guess on the scoreboard itself, you'd have video replay. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we bought the Cadillac version where it has instant replay. If we choose to replay Chase Melvin
dunk by Jalen King, maybe?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Maybe a call that maybe should have gone the other way. But no, just kidding. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to do a lot for the future of our entire athletic program. Our volleyball team next year obviously will be able to enjoy it, as well as other functions we have in the gym, graduations and that sort of thing. So it's not just for the basketball program, it's for the entire athletic program. So it's not cheap. Jared Bowman and I flew out to Danville, Illinois' Watchfire, who creates these digital scoreboards. Are going to be installing that hopefully in January. So, Jared, thank you for all your time behind the scenes. And of course, we have an electrician here on campus. He was in the gym today working on getting all that right before they come out in December and January to install it. So there's a lot of people, like I was saying a minute ago, behind the scenes that make those things happen. And one of which is people in the community, like your Todd Hunt down here at Jerry Hunt, Mohawk Industries, Josh Hill, and on and on and on. These people that have given a lot of money to help us in our athletic program grow to be what it is.
Yeah, that's perfect. Wonderful. Well, our next coaches show is going to be roughly in 3 weeks. I think November 28th is the next one scheduled right here at Brinkley. It'll be fun catching back up again. You guys are going to have 5 games played between now and then, so look forward to that next coaches show right here Monday, November 28th. And any other final comments before we sign off tonight?
Well, all 5 of those games are conference games, and some of which are at home, some are on the road, but none of them are gimmies. I mean, they're going to be fun games for our kids to be a part of. So hopefully our fans and community will come out, especially here at home, and support these group of young men. They're a special group.
Yeah, and I just, again, want to thank Landon Bowers. Thank you again for coming tonight. Good to catch up with you, meet you, and learn more about you. Thank you, Chase and Jalen, for sitting in the hot seat with us tonight. And, Coach, thank you again. Another great coaches show here at Brinkley. We'll sign out tonight and look forward to seeing you guys back on the 28th right here. Thank you.
Thanks.